Hello, welcome to day 10. Thank you for those of you returning and following the journey so far. Welcome to any new viewers. I'm Tanya. This is a diary vlog mapping my progress in the self-development arena and with the launch of my online business. So today I wanted to share something that happened earlier on today that sort of gave me that kind of warm fuzzy feeling inside, and it relates to the impact that we have that we don't even realize we're making on other people's lives. 20 odd years ago I actually did a course through in Glasgow called MindStore for Life, and Jack Black was the founder of MindStore, and he delivered the 2-day immersive course, and it changed my life in such a fundamental way, in the fact that all of a sudden I was in a room with about 1,800 other people that were thinking in a positive way, wanting to change their lives, thinking a more kind of positive, proactive way. As a result, I was a raving fan, and when I came out of that 2-day course, I started telling everyone in my kind of family, friends and work colleagues. And a work colleague of mine that eventually did become a really good friend, she eventually decided to come and do the course with me a couple of years later. And then as a ripple effect, she started telling her family and friends, and her cousin eventually has gone and done one of Jack's courses in June this year through in Glasgow, and the online side as well. So there was an in-person and then there was some online material as well. So it's amazing how that ripple effect has sort of cascaded, and it's impacted not just my immediate friend, but then her cousin as well. So just goes to show that this channel and what I was trying to do about documenting and evidencing my journey will have an impact on people's lives, whether it is someone just watching one video and just hearing one little snippet when they're ready to hear it, and then that might transform their life as a result. So I'm going to keep on going. So we're a third through of the 30-day challenge, and what I'm going to cover off today is a little bit about the kind of stories that we tell ourselves that sort of sometimes hold us back, where we think, is that really what I want to be doing? Is that really aligned with my values? Is that really is it fear that's holding me back? So sometimes we sort of like create this story where it's like, no, I'm doing it for the right reasons. So for me, 9 months ago, when I was starting to think about launching my online business, I started having that debate. I don't want to do social media, I don't want to do adverts, I want to sort of organically grow the business. However, the reality is this is an online business, and people that want to get the support, because people have to be ready to transform their lives. It isn't like, oh, I just want to change a little bit, so therefore I'll just sort of like speak to someone and then I'll get the kind of I'll go along with that. There is a lot of coaches, there's a lot of therapists, there is a lot of online material online. So people are wanting to sort of find what is the right kind of fit for them and what resonates with them. So for me, it was my fear of being in front of the camera, my fear of stepping out of my comfort zone and sharing with people my life story, because you need to understand where I've come from as to why might I be able to help you on your journey. And as much as you've got the qualifications, you've got the life experience, people need to feel that kind of resonance. And funnily enough, that is one of the courses that Jack Black and Phil Holmes had done several years back, the resonance principle. And that sort of like people will resonate with your kind of energy vibe and the message that you're actually sharing. So the story that I was saying, to me, I don't want to share on social media, partly because of my fear, but then the other part of the story was people are already busy, they're saturated with ads and with content and people trying to sort of like sell them something, and it's just going to overload them, and I don't want to put them in that position. And this is where the boundary work comes in, because now I realise that I was sort of overstepping from my side of the road into other people's side of the road. If people are too busy, they're just going to keep on going. They're not going to pay attention if I send them a direct message, or if I post something on Facebook, or if I put some content onto YouTube or onto LinkedIn. People will sort of like home in and sort of like support you on your journey when they're ready to do that. So everyone operates in their own kind of time frame. So I was sort of adding unnecessarily pressure on myself by saying, oh, I want to be not just on my side of the road, I want to be on their side of the road, rather than giving them the choice to choose. And what I'm saying as my kind of slogan at the end is that we've got choices, so choose wisely. So everyone will choose wisely for where they are at this moment in time. So the story that I was sort of like saying to myself is, I'm protecting people and I'm safeguarding their time, so I'm not going to post stuff on social media. But in actual fact, I was doing a disservice, because if I didn't become a raving fan of the kind of transformation that I've gone through, of the tools and techniques that I have acquired over my lifespan, to then be able to share that, I would be doing a disservice to people that are ready to transform their lives, that want to learn and be inspired to sort of take some action in their life. So from that kind of perspective, now I'm sort of drumming the beat. Facebook friend requests are going out, stuff's going out on LinkedIn. I'm doing the YouTube channel. So it's about doing that kind of reframe. Look at the story that you're saying to yourself and then dig deeper. Am I doing it out of fear, or am I doing it because I've got a misconstrued boundary, unhealthy boundary, where I'm trying to solve other people's problems? Focus on what you want, and what I want is to share my message. I want to share the experience that I've gone through, the growth that I am evidencing through these video blogs. And if someone watches some of this content and just to get something out of it, fantastic. If not, then that's all good as well, because people have got choices what content they're watching and what they're not. And so where I got to in my kind of life story was, I had got my first corporate job, and I was working in Scottish Environment Protection Agency, 18 months in working in the sales ledger department. I then started thinking, oh, maybe I'm ready for something more. I could maybe stretch myself, and maybe studying and going for an accountancy qualification is the right time. And at that time, they decided to advertise for a trainee position, a trainee accountant position. And there was 100 applicants. I applied, and I was successful in gaining that job, which then meant that I was working 4 days a week in the office, and then 1 day a week I had released to go to Napier University in Edinburgh and study. And that's where I met some lifelong friends along the route, and I got to do the qualifications over a 2-year period. And then I had two resets that I needed to do after my kind of final exams, which I then went and did with another private company to fast track. And this is where if you've got a goal that you want to achieve and that you want to fast track it, you go and you get experts, you speak to people, and you pay people that can actually help you to get to that goal as quick as possible, because then it saves you time, effort, and you start reaping the rewards. So that's what I ended up doing. So I did my 2 years with Napier University, and then I fast tracked for the next kind of 3 months, and I got qualified within less than the 3-year period. Then, because the way that the accountancy profession, I was part of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, I needed to do a training log, mental block there, a training log of the work experience that I had sort of gained, and you needed to have that for the 3-year period. Now, I had been working in the role 18 months prior to starting the accountancy qualification, so I had the experience, but it was getting that all documented. So then that was me in a qualified position, and then a fellow colleague went on maternity leave, and then I was seconded into her position. So I got the experience of working in a qualified position, and I stayed in SEPA for 7 years in total, but I got my qualification within that 7-year period, and a lot of experience in between. But the kind of story that I had been saying to myself previously was that did I want to study, was I not sure, kind of thing. And it's about having a mentor that was then pushing me to sort of like think of what is the bigger picture, what do you want to achieve in life, and having the accountancy qualification, will it open doors for you, would it give you opportunities that you wouldn't maybe necessarily have if you didn't. So I'm glad I was open to listen to the advice that I was actually given, and I did take that the path, and that's what I did for the kind of 25 years of my life doing that work. So the stories that we say sometimes can actually limit us. So having a kind of deeper dive into, oh, why am I feeling and thinking that way, can actually serve us in the longer term. So I'm going to wrap it up here today and go out, seize the day, make it an awesome day. It's beautiful and sunny here in Scotland. And remember, you've always got choices, so choose the story you want to be living and replaying. So choose wisely. Speak to you tomorrow. Bye bye.